I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're taking a deep dive into the power of spiritual strength and expression with an amazing author. His name is Causten Meaux, and the book is called Spoken: Meditation from the Heart. This profound book emerges from the author's courageous journey to voice the unspoken, nurtured by divine encouragement since the tender age of 6. Join us right now as we explore how his writings serve as a beacon for those seeking to release their innermost thoughts and feelings, glorifying God in the process. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank our team at Bookside Press for helping us put him in the spotlight today. We ask viewers like you to support writers like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his inspiring book. The links are below this interview. Causten, great to see you here today on Spotlight.
I feel great. It's good to see you, sir.
Well, it's wonderful to have you on the show. This is quite a book you've written. Tell me what inspired you to transform your lifelong reflections into a book, Spoken Meditation from the Heart.
Probably, if I can really think straight right now, it's a multiple of things. It's a multiple of falling down and getting up and still trusting and trying to figure out what is right for me in my life. What is my purpose in life? And with the help of course, my wife, that was the key to everything. I would go to her and ask her, what do you think about this? What do you think about this?
Mm.
And she kept telling me to write it down, write it down. I knew God had spoken to me, but I didn't have that self-confidence. Uh, Being almost 70 some years, I think,
Mm.
70 some years old, how can God speak to someone who's 70 years old and get something that the world could read or could gain strength on? So I think
Mm.
that's the bottom line of the book.
Yeah.
The heartfelt that God was leading me to write this book at my age.
Yeah. Well, give the folks at home an overview of what your book is about.
It's about life, understanding who you are, not what you see or who you see, because who you are is on the inside
Mm.
and it's exposed or it's shown on the outside. If you don't know who you are on the inside, uh, you can look in the mirror and not really understand what you see in the mirror.
Mm.
So it's something that's so deep that it can't be visualized. It has to be taken into your heart, and you have to accept the fact that you need a stronger person within you to guide you day by day.
Mm. What advice do you have for folks who are seeking to find their own voice and courage to speak their truth?
Be true to yourself.
Mm.
You can lie to the public. You can lie to your spouse. You can lie to the world, but you cannot lie to yourself. If you lie to yourself, you're lost.
Mm.
You have to understand who you are, whether it's good or bad, because God has a way of revealing who you are on the inside if you're willing to accept. Now, you can reject all the feelings in the world that you are more than who you think you are,
Mm.
but to lay down at night and be comfortable with yourself as you lay down and you know that God will wake you up to a new reality of who you are. And it takes a lot to accept. It takes a lot of strength to bend so low that you have to humble yourself so that God can use you.
How important is faith in your journey?
It's everything.
Yeah.
Faith is everything. Now you can have faith in yourself, which will lead to destruction and lead to misguided actions in your life because faith comes from within, and you cannot see faith unless it's placed into action.
Mm. What do you hope readers will take away from the book?
strength
Mm.
to determine who they really are. Um, it's amazing, Logan, that it took so many years to actually come come to grips with who I am or
Mm.
who I was, because I did not know who I was, or I was afraid to expose or express who I was. I always had a deep feeling for the love of God. Always did, but I didn't know how to express it. I thought I was
Mm.
being, how would you put it? I didn't want anybody to know that I was so much into knowing who God was
Mm.
that I didn't want to separate myself from the crowd. But God has a way of making you submit to Him if you believe in Him,
Mm.
because He can take you to the lowest part of your life. Uh, Lost a lot of things in my life, separated from a wife for a while,
Mm.
2 or 3 houses, lost a job, but He still guided me to a place where I was willing to submit to His strength and His power, because He was the only one that could keep me after being in Vietnam for so many times,
Mm.
and suicidal, and almost killed two of my a niece and a nephew, and I didn't even know anything about it.
Mm.
So it was something that when I was touched and and I released myself to God, then that's when He started opening up and giving me the words to give to others that I come in contact with.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing the journey you describe because, like I said at the beginning of this interview, you look like a man much younger than your age. You've done something that very few people do, and that has been to sustain a relationship and a marriage for more than a half of a century.
Mhm.
So, even though your path has been like this a little bit, what matters is not where you went along the journey, but where you wind up. And you were able
Correct.
to spend that 55 years and are spending 55 years plus and counting with your wife, which is a great accomplishment. So you found peace along the
Yes.
way. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And that's the key to life. Um, you cannot find peace until you find love. You can't find love until you love yourself.
Yeah.
That's you can't love somebody else if you don't love yourself.
Yeah.
And then that's when God gives you the peace, because you're never alone. You may think you're alone, but you're never alone in this life, because He's always there,
Yeah.
and He will direct your path if you follow Him. You don't know that you're following Him, but when trials happen in life, you go to Him in prayer, and then you submit yourself. Lord, I don't know what I'm doing.
Mm.
Please help. When you cry out, it's just like a baby. When a baby needs something or wants something, they cry out for help.
Yeah.
And the loving parent or mother, they attend to that need.
Right.
Then the baby is calm. That we're still babes in this
Right.
world,
Yeah.
regardless of who you are, how tall you are, or how much money you have.
Mm.
You're still a babe to Christ,
Yeah.
because you have to be fed breath,
Mm.
because we have to breathe. And you're
Exactly.
fed breath every day of your life. And when you realize that you couldn't breathe on your own, then you start realizing there's somebody that is greater than you, and you
Yeah.
submit. And I have a
Exactly.
feeling that a lot of so many don't want to submit to the flaws of their life. They want to paint a picture of everything is fine. Life is hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. But once you find that peace of mind, life is so beautiful.
Yeah. I had a priest say to me one time, life is hard, and once you accept that fact, it becomes easier, which I
Yes,
think is very, very
yes,
true. Let's just
yes.
talk before we leave today about your title, Spoken Meditation from the Heart. What do you mean by the title?
Whatever is on the inside, Logan, some kind of way will come, will surface,
Hmm.
whether it's good or whether it's bad. You live from within, and it's exposed or it's expressed on the outside.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that I am finally understanding to the utmost.
Yeah.
My life is who I am. I am who I am because I know there is God.
Yeah.
And I know that He will lead and direct my path regardless of whether it's the hills I have to climb. That's to build strength. And that's another thing. That's why I work out so much, because I have been asthmatic all my life. And I used to sleep on my knees. And I think part of the story I've already written or someone knows about it, but I realized that God saved me for a purpose. Until we find a purpose in this life, we will struggle every day.
Great advice. Great advice. Beautiful words, both spoken and written. Causten Meaux has written an amazing book. It is called Spoken: Meditation from the Heart. It's a profound book, and it emerges from his own courageous journey to voice the unspoken, nurtured by divine encouragement since he was just a little boy. His writings serve as a beacon for those seeking to release their innermost thoughts, feelings, and glorify God in the process. Causten, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
It is my profound pleasure. And God bless you, Logan, in your life and endeavors.
God bless you, sir. I appreciate that. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.